armpit farts and
Right.
like fart jokes and punching butts and
There you go.
screaming.
I think those are the comedic roots
Yeah.
we're looking for. I think we found them.
Yeah. Yeah. We did not have any of that discipline.
Armpit farts.
Missed
I haven't
us.
thought about
Yeah.
armpit farts in a while.
I've tried so hard for years to be able to do it. And every now and then I could do it.
But nothing consistent.
No. It's not a consistent skill. It's not on my resume, you know. I try to be honest on my resume.
You have to put it on your resume. Just say occasionally. Armpit farts sometimes.
I mean, that's sort of anytime people ask for a special skill, it's like the most terrifying moment because I don't have any. And all my special skills are like, I can make this weird noise. I can roll my tongue. But I can't go horseback riding or something. I'm not a sailor.
Not a sailor?
But I can do that sound.
That's good. I think,
Yeah.
I think it's probably more practical than horseback riding.
For sure.
Yeah. So when you went to high school and stuff, did you do all the plays and things?
I did. I had a colorful high school career, though.
Really? Were you in jail?
Well, sort of. So I was in theater, and I loved doing the plays, and I was in like jazz choir, and I got straight A's. But then I also I bought the first bag of pot I ever bought. They found, and I got handcuffed and like marched through school and arrested, and so then I got expelled for a semester.
Oh my God!
Then I went to Catholic school for the end of the year to get to the end of the year, and then I went back to public school. I got super depressed. I felt like, I wasn't going to graduate on time because I didn't have consumer's ed and enough gym credits, which was so I was understanding bureaucracy for the first time, I think.
Right.
And it was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. And I dropped out. I went to the library in the park every day. And then I wound up, my senior year, I went to Chicago Academy for the Arts. And I found my people, and I did some correspondence classes, and I graduated on time. I found all the weirdos.
So you got busted for pot at public high school?
Yeah.
And that was sophomore year?
That was my sophomore year, and I remember asking the security guard if he could check the cast list for shadow boxer to see if I'd gotten Beverly.
While they were taking you out in cuffs?
I did get the role. I didn't get to do it.
Oh, and so you got suspended from there for a year?
Expelled. So I had a full expulsion hearing, and then how you do the PSATs for national merit, whatever. So I got a letter saying you're a national merit commended scholar, but I wasn't allowed within a 3-block radius of my high school.
And then they sent you to Catholic school for the rest of that year?
Well, no, they wanted to send me to an ombudsman school in Chicago. And we decided to do Catholic school instead. And I went to, but you know what? I'm kind of glad because it was such an experience in itself, seeing getting to go to school with all the Catholics in Chicago. Yeah. I have a lot of great Italian names after that.
Yeah. No Ukrainian ones?
Yeah. I learned about confirmation names.
Uh-huh.
No, at this part of where I was in Chicago, it was kind of on the west side. It was in River Forest, so it wasn't in the city, but it was very Italian, Irish, Puerto Rican. Yeah.
So you met some characters?
I did, yeah. There was one girl, Jo Rizzo, who the first time I met her, she had a big bruise on her arm because her boyfriend, Kenny, she said, Kenny hit me with a league ball. And then one day she couldn't sit down and she went, because I went tanning twice, because I went once and then Kenny's mom wanted to go and look, and she lifted up her skirt and her whole ass was bright red, super burned. So it was that wasn't part of my life yet.
Yeah. And then you got out of there, you escaped and went to art.
I got out of there, went back to public school, and then I started getting super depressed.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's in my family anyway. My brother had really bad depression growing.
Oh,
I mean, he
really?
still does. We all do. Yeah. And so I guess this was like my time. And I would, late at night, like I'm either going to just keep driving and I'm going to drive west, or I'm going to go in my garage and just fall asleep with the car running and it's warm and I'm listening to music I like. And those were like, I would just
The
go
options?
home. I didn't ever try anything. But then my mom was kind of like, no, this is not good. And I went to the family psychiatrist.
The family one.
Yeah. She told me I was wearing shit colored glasses. So I knew I liked her.
Oh, as opposed to the rose-colored glasses or the regular glasses?
Shit ones. Yeah.
Yeah, no, suicidal ideation is not great, though it's a hobby of mine.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better sometimes, but
It makes you feel alive.
it does. I used to do a joke about it that I used to, I think about suicide all the time. Not that I want to kill myself. It just makes me feel better knowing that I can if I have to. It's relieving, that moment where you're like, I could always kill myself.
All right. Now I can keep going.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's when you started getting treated for the depression?
Yes. So yeah, I started then. And it was really good. I got on. I forget. It's like antidepressants have come such a long way. I think I was on Lexapro or something.
Yeah, you're on one of the classics.
One of the OGs.
Yeah.
So, and I've been on and off. That's why I really like Wellbutrin, because it's I feel the least amount of side effects, and like I don't feel, if I'm ever going through a feeling dread or whatever, I'm like, this too shall pass.
So it gives you that foundation of not locking into the spin.
Right. And it's a big spin. I still spin, I guess, but I'm like, but the dread, it's
Dread's
good.
the worst.
I think Wellbutrin is good for people who spin.
Yeah, it's good for dread.
It's like the like tornado,
Right. Once it
I'm
starts,
still going to
everything
have
just
them every night. Yes. Yeah. And it's always very negative and, fatalistic.
I haven't heard of a positive spiral.
I think that's like when you're manic.
That's true. That's true. That's the positive spiral where everything's going your way.
I have a lot of mental illness in my family, so I've been on the other end of the phone for a positive spiral.
Oh, but you're not bipolar? What's your diagnosis?
No, I'm not.
Depression?
I'm depression, anxiety, boring, nothing special.
Depression and anxiety?
Yeah.
I have the anxiety. I don't know if I'm depressed. I wouldn't know anymore. My dad's a depressive, and we have it in the family, but I definitely have tracked most of it to different varying degrees of anxiety.
Sure. Yeah.
Because if you get really anxious, you'll go into a paralysis that is kind of like depression.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's more of a dread thing. Like I can tell the difference between depression and paralyzing dread. Mm-hmm. Right?
Do you think, now sometimes I'm like the paralyzing dread, and it's just like what it leads you to do. It's exhausting, and it's the anxiety I feel much more physically, weirdly enough. And then the depression my hormones get all messed up. I take seasonal birth control, and I have for years and years. So I only get 4 periods a year because I get so depressed just from just from my hormones changing. And that's when I have to go like, this isn't real. This isn't going to last. And
right.
Yeah.
That's the trick, is if you can actually step out of it to be like, this is my brain dragging me along here.
Yeah.
Like I'm responding to something my brain is manufacturing that has no bearing on reality.
Right. Yeah. And in high school, I remember, going through like, what's my personality and what's my illness.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
That sort of like, hey, am I a whole self?
Right. Is the fun stuff me, or because I have anxiety? But I think like coronavirus really brought it all back. I feel like, I worked on it for years, and then all of a sudden being alone in my apartment for 2 weeks and not knowing what's happening and having someone sick and wondering if I'm sick. It was like I would go days where I'd go I'm going to choose anxiety today. And then like now
As
I'm going to
opposed to-
choose depression and start, drinking at 10 a.m. the minute I wake up to try to knock myself out.
Right. Yeah, I think that a lot of people are having that experience. They're definitely spending time with either fighting who they really are or with who they really are.
Yeah.
With this, you know what I mean? It's all broken down.
Or they haven't, dealt with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I really had a hard time with that sort of struggle for like, who am I? Is this like, does this hat make me? Am I going
right.
to, like, should I dress like that guy? Like, I can't fucking deal with that.
Right.
I think it went on till like maybe a year or two ago.
It's probably still going on.
Did you have that?
No, I think I'm now, I love not having to think I fit in or have to. The thing I'm like, you know what? I 100% believe that I'm a person who likes to share joy and be joyful, and I want comedy from there. And, and obviously I'm salty and I bark like a dog sometimes, but I don't enjoy arguing or fight. The thing I enjoy when I feel best is coming from that place, like a happy laughing.
Wow, that's great. That maybe I should get on Wellbutrin. Jesus Christ.
Just no, don't do the generic because it makes your hands shake.
See, that's what I was telling you. When I took it, it got me crazy.
Yeah.
Makes your hands shake?
Yeah, I was doing like an ad for it was something with, not an ad, it was like a public service thing. And I had to drink a glass of water and I just started it. And I was taking the bupropion, and I was like, it's like Donald Trump shaking.
All right. Let's not. So tell me about the evolution.
Things. Yeah.
The evolution of joy here. So when you finally got to the art high school and you found your people, were you like relieved? Is that where you started to realize it's okay to be a weirdo?
Oh, totally. I always say, like, I think I was the coolest I've ever been when I was 18 because I was around all these people who introduced me to their favorite music and art. And I had a really good friend. This girl, Megu, lived with me. She was Japanese, and she was an exchange student, and she lived with me, and she was so funny. She had her hair permed like Bob Dylan and like one tooth that kind of stuck out. And she was a Zen Buddhist and a painter.
Wow.
She'd had cancer and gone to school in a hospital until she came to Chicago. And we wound up being...
Jesus Christ,
she was just like a super important person in my life. She lived with me. And then after I went to college, she stayed in my house and lived with my mom until she was done with high school.
Oh, so she lived with you at your family house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She took the bed and I just remember she painted she got sticks from outside and painted them all black and bent them and made like a canopy for her bed.
So she was an inspirational artist.
She was, very much so. And she hardly spoke any English, but I think I appreciated that. I had a lot of friends who didn't speak English growing up.
Really?
Not a lot, but I think I appreciate someone who feels like, they have to. They feel like an outsider, but there was something like, well, we have to find other ways to communicate. And that was kind of fun to me.
Are you still in touch with her?
No. So when she went back to Japan, I had a close friend pass away right around the same time. And it was really like my first big loss. And I lost it was all at the same time. And I kind of lost her info. And like, I've tried to look for her over the years, but her name's Megu Nakagawa. So there's just so many. And it was sort of with her being as like Zen Buddhist as she is, it was kind of like, this was the way it's supposed to go. And Megu was this part of my life. And if I'm meant to meet her again, I will.
So when you were at the art high school, what were you primarily doing? It sounds like she was a painter and a sculptor and stuff.
Yes, I was theater, nothing cool.
And so you just did straight up, like, were you taking the acting classes and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I'd done theater for a long time anyway. And then I went to college for it too. I got my BFA from Cal Arts in theater.
I know some people went to Cal Arts.
I know, it's a small school, but a lot of people went
Allison Brie.
Yeah, she was a year above me. We were friends.
You were?
Yeah.
She's great. I do a show with her, and also Don Cheadle.